new 2026 federal poverty line, okay? Now, here's what's interesting about this. It did not go up very much at all. We were anticipating a 4.9% increase on the federal poverty line over 2025 into 2026. It went up by 1.98%. That's it. That's all it went up. It did not go up very much at all. Well, as you can see here with this screenshot, the federal poverty line now for 2026, according to HHS, these are the numbers in play for the entire year of 2026, is now $15,960 for a household of one individual. To put that into context, in 2025, the federal poverty line for a household of one was $15,650. So it literally went up by $310 to $15,960, an increase of 1.98%. That's an interesting one. Now, a household of two is $21,640, and going out to a household of four individuals is an even $33,000, okay? And obviously, as you saw with that screenshot there, it goes all the way up to multiple people within a household. Very important thresholds. Now, why do we care about this? There's actually a lot of reasons why we care about the federal poverty line. It's actually a very, very, very important metric that we need to watch. First off, drop a comment down below. Why do you think, I'm just curious, I would love to hear your answers down below, by the way. Why do you think the federal poverty line is so incredibly important? And again, this is not a quiz, it's not a test, it's not a pop quiz, nothing like that. I'm just very curious to see the answers down below, why you would think that the federal poverty line is actually very important. Now, I'm going to tell you this much. It's very important. I said this at the beginning of the video. These numbers you saw right there on the screen in this screenshot right here, these determine basically your eligibility for essentially any government program out there. Obviously, Social Security aside, that's something totally different. But when I'm talking about federal programs, I'm talking about things like SNAP benefits, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, talking about WIC, Women, Infant, Children, other programs that I've talked about extensively here on the channel like LIHEAP, Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, the LIHWAP, Low Income Home Water Assistance Program, the WAP, Weatherization Assistance Program, TANF, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. The list goes on and on. ACP, the Affordability Connectivity Program. Again, the list goes on and on. All of these are pegged to the federal poverty line and your income as a percentage of the federal poverty line. Now, in general, somebody that has an income at or below the federal poverty line basically can get tons of help from government programs. Now, again, I'm not trying to sit here and act like, oh, if your income's below the threshold, you know, it's so easy. I'm not trying to act that way at all, okay? I am not acting that way whatsoever. I totally get it. I see the struggle out there. But what I'm saying is that if somebody's income is below the thresholds that you saw there in the screenshot that I shared with you, if somebody's income is below that threshold, the accessibility for a lot of these different federal programs that are out there to get help with food assistance, rental assistance, housing assistance, utility assistance, water assistance, again, internet assistance, the list goes on and on. The floodgates are opened up for these individuals that have an income below that. Is it easy to get the assistance? No, it's not easy to get the assistance. You know that as well as I do. It is not easy to get the assistance, but at least it's there for people with an income below the federal poverty line, okay? But the higher that somebody's income gets above the federal poverty line, well, the harder and harder it is. For example, like SNAP benefits, for example. Somebody can have a gross income, as in total income, of 130% of the federal poverty line. No more than that. Somebody's income is above 130% of the federal poverty line. Their likelihood of getting SNAP benefits, food stamps, is like non-existent, right? And again, that's like one of the higher thresholds, but generally it's right around 100%, maybe 125, maybe 130%, but that's about it when it comes down to the eligibility for a lot of these programs, and they peg it off of the federal poverty line every single time. They always use the federal poverty line as the line in the sand, the benchmark that they use to determine someone's eligibility for all of these different programs that are out there, and it's a percentage of that number. Well, that's why we want to continue watching this very closely, because each and every year as incomes rise, which I know is kind of a joke, right? We all recognize this. Income's rising, right? Where? Where is the income rising, right? We all recognize this. But again, when somebody gets an increase to their monthly benefit, for example, because of the cost of living adjustment, technically your gross income is rising because it's actually going up. Does that mean you're getting all that money? No, because a lot of it's being taken away because of, say, like the Medicare Part B premium, which I've talked about extensively before, right? So your gross income is rising, but doesn't mean you're getting all that money. But my point being is that when somebody's income rises, if they don't actually update the federal poverty line each and every year to account for that as well, more and more people are going to lose access to benefits. Does that make sense? So it's important. It's very important that the federal poverty line continues to increase every single